Texas authorities are threatening to arrest international election observers if they get too close to their Texas polls. Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott is threatening the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. The watchdog group opposes voter ID laws and insists its monitors should keep an eye on the Texas polls. But Texas says the group should butt out. Joining us, our political panel, ABC News senior Washington editor Rick Klein, Time Magazine deputy Washington bureau chief Michael Crowley, and the Weekly Standard Steve Hayes. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, I would say of all the things that I'm thinking about as we head into the last 12 days of this election, this is not something that keeps me up at night. But it's sort of funny in an absurd way, in a silly kind of way, when you have 12 of the 44 countries that make up the OSCE are countries that have been judged either not free or partly unfree, and you have countries like Kazakhstan that hasn't had a free election in the 20 years of independence coming to judge our elections, sending 3 of the 44 observers to come and judge and pass judgment on our elections. There's something sort of humorous about it.
See,
I'm not sure I'm that worried about it.
I'm actually, I mean, it doesn't keep me up at night, but I really don't like it. Rick?
I don't know. Look, I think it's not a Texas-sized problem. The State Department has weighed in on this, and they'd like to see more. They'd like to see the observers here. It's something we do abroad all the time.
So
they're observing.
I mean, so that they let us come. That doesn't mean we have to let them come. We can have the ACLU and the Justice Department watch our elections.
And they're gonna have to comply.
I'd much rather have foreigners than the ACLU and Justice.
They're going to have to comply with state law in terms of where they can be and where they can't be. I don't think, even if they were to find something out of the ordinary, what are they going to do? Write a report? It's not going to really affect the election in Texas. I don't think we're in jeopardy of.
Well, right. I mean, part of the comedy here is that Texas is going to be one of the least competitive states in the nation. It's just kind of goofy all around. These Europeans come into. I mean, the collision between Europeans and Texans, right, could not be funnier. And there should be like an HBO special about it. But Greta, I actually think that if you want to zoom out to a more substantive issue here, we will have several states where the margin will be quite close in the end, and where there will be charges and countercharges of voter fraud, voter suppression. I'm not convinced that voter fraud is a big problem in this country, but a lot of people are. And I think that in a close election in some of these swing states, we could see a lot of litigation, accusations that drag on well after Election Day about whether the vote was.
I agree with you, and
not
I want it monitored, and I don't care who monitors it. I want it, but and I want it done well. The Justice Department can do it. I don't care who does it. It's just the idea of having foreigners come in because we can't do our election, and we're letting them judge our election. I mean, it's astounding to me that.
I did read. I don't know if this is accurate. I wasn't able to check with a second source, but that the Bush administration was the first to invite these European observers in.
So I mean, still, that doesn't make it a good idea or a bad idea.
It surprised me. Yeah.
I think the Texas elections are going to be fine without these guys, and they can buy them some barbecue maybe before they head to town.
You should send Borat, though. I mean, he's from Kazakhstan. He can go down to Texas.
I'm surprised that you guys, that doesn't bother any of you guys.
I mean, it's just, if I thought it was going to have any effect, what can they do? They're totally powerless. So they go back and they write some stupid report that nobody reads because nobody cares what they say.
For some reason, I just think our election is none of their business, and that we ought to be able to police our own election, and we ought to be able to count our own votes, and we ought to make sure there's no fraud.
But I think we're doing all of that anyway. This doesn't keep us from doing any of that.
Generally, our election system, it could be modernized, it could be more efficient, we could be doing it online, we could have days other than this one select day people vote at Walmarts. There are a lot of things we can change. This is not the solution, but I think we could have a better system. Everyone can agree with that.
All right, well, since it's 3 against 1, I'm taking us to break. Stand by. Straight ahead, Ohio Republican Senator Rob Portman has advice for both candidates on how to win Ohio. Which one will take it? You'll hear from Senator Portman. That's next.
This program is brought to you by Centrum Silver Ultra Men's, the most complete multivitamin for men over 50.
Years ago, my doctor told me to take a Centrum Silver multivitamin every day. I told him, sure, can't hurt, right? Then I heard this news about a multivitamin study looking at long-term health benefits for men over 50. And the one they used in that study, Centrum Silver, that's what I take. My doctor, he knows his stuff.
Centrum Silver, the most recommended, most preferred, most studied. Centrum, always your most complete.
Rachel quit the corporate grind to start her own interior design business. She's got a growing list of clients she keeps in touch with using email marketing from ConstantContact.com. Constant Contact is easy and affordable. It lets her send out updates and photos that showcase her expertise and inspire